Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How are my peeps doing this afternoon? I trust everybody's doing fine. I trust everybody's getting ready for what will be in the long run. What I say? What's wrong with my chat? What's wrong with my chat? It's not perform. Oh, that's the reason why. Ha! Let's get this right, guys. Forgive me, forgive me. Let's get to my chat. Whoa! That chat is going crazy already. Anyway. Good afternoon, Eric Hayes from Atascocita, Kingwood, Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain, Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. We also have Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. In the house is Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. Lee Grant from, of course, Montgomery County. We also have Michael Rudnin from where again? Brooklyn, New York. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. Okay. Uh, para ver. Michael Rudnin, Washington Post, a staggering reach of Trump's misinformation, not just on Haitian migrants. A new poll shows lots of Trump supporters say they believe his pet eating claim about Haitians, as well as plenty of other claims. MAGAs are living in an alternate state, alternate reality bubble. Say they believe believing in some easily debunked insano conspiracy theories. From the poll, 52% believe the Haitian migrants nonsense that's become a publicly unfolding conspiracy theory. 81% believe Venezuela is deliberately sending people from prisons and mental institutions to the United States. 70% believe millions of undocumented immigrants are arriving every month. 77% believe the United States giving more aid to Ukraine than all of Europe combined. 70% believe inflation is at the highest rate ever. Not true today or at any point in recent years. Trump's whole stick is to say the most outlandish thing and to see how many of this cult will follow. After seeing there's no repercussions for his spreading blatant lies, I can see why Breach keeps telling me this message. To argue with a man who has renounced the use and authority of reason and whose philosophy consists in holding humanity in contempt is like administering medicine to the dead. That is Bridges' statement. Michael Rudden just reiterated it. Let me tell you my addendum to that. But we always, Michael Rudnin, we always, while Bridges is technically correct, it's like administering medicine to the dead. Sometimes the dead are not really dead. They just need a catalyst that will be the trigger. And what I hope to be, I am a humanist. I believe in human beings. I love human beings. And therefore, while some people cannot handle the stupor, the stupidity that MAGA would continuously believe, the way they allow themselves to be jack whipped by this snake oil salesman, the way they allow themselves to be manipulated and live in an alternate state of reality by this guy. Eventually, my dear brother Rudnin, my dear Bridge MCP, and everybody else, I want them to have a place to land. You see, it's not only MAGA who has always been the ones messed up in the head because of external impulses, external, what do we call externalities? So I have grace. And I will continue in my patience, my forever patience to work with these people. And let me tell you why as well. Because not to do so as an activist, as a humanist, mean that I'm ceding success to the evil ones that have corrupted their being, that have corrupted their minds, that have corrupted their sensibilities. One of the reasons I wrote my book how to talk to your right wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. Folks, go get it, please. You help us out when you do that, but you also learn a few things and how to talk to folks by also learning the truth behind a lot of our policies, etc. That's how you do it. Now, I don't expect all of you to have my patience. I don't expect all of you to go ahead and say, all right, I'm going to do it. But some of us must do it. My brother Ray Brackens, how is my dear brother doing? Let me get to the right mic before you start talking, my brother, because I didn't set that up beforehand and it's ready to go. Talk to me, my dear brother Ray.
You know what? I have to make a concession today, Egberto.
Okay.
Um, Donald Trump is right. You know, this country is getting taken over by filthy, possibly dog and cat eating immigrants. And if you're wondering where I'm going with this, I basically feel like he's standing and lockstep right next to one. Elon Musk. That's an immigrant problem we need to deal with. You know, he came to this country from South Africa and took over our culture. He's taken over our media, and yes, he, the immigrant, the filthy rich aristocrat immigrant that stands lockstep with Donald Trump, is the immigrant problem. But he won't acknowledge it because it's right next to him. That's where I was going with that. You cool, Egberto. You a
I
real
look,
American. But
you know
him,
what, man?
he needs
I
to go.
love it. I love what you just said. I love even the way that you said it because you're absolutely right. He brought a lot of the cancer because do you know where he's from, right? South Africa.
South Africa. Yeah,
Yes, he is
apartheid.
he apartheid exactly. And all the disease, the cancer that was South Africa and the Boers and etc. That's who he is. We got to remember that. And yes, you're absolutely right, Ray. Anything else you want to add, my dear brother?
I really don't. I just want to opine on that because like we say, Donald Trump, like a broken clock, is right maybe twice a day, but not
Right,
in the way that you think.
right.
But yeah, if he was talking about immigrants coming to our country, tearing it down, making it worse, yeah, the ones we need to be concerned about, he's standing right next to him. He's using his platform to pump all of his garbage messages. So yeah, those are the immigrants we need to get rid of.
I want to jump on that on something else because you brought up Elon Musk. I want all our MAGA folk to realize, specifically the unionized MAGA folk. In other words, union members that are MAGA. I hope you guys listen to how what Donald Trump really feels about you guys when two billionaires, well, he's a fake billionaire, but when two purported billionaires sit down and talk about you, when he commended Elon Musk of saying he'll just let those strikers off, let them go, fire them, and he was all for it. So for all the Teamsters, I'm not talking about our sister who is a Teamster, and she made it clear yesterday that a lot of the local Teamster groups made sure to support anybody but Trump, meaning Kamala Harris. That all of those Teamsters that are supporting Trump, it shows you their mental problem that they're supporting that which will cause their demise. Thank you very much for calling in, Ray. Ray, you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you stay listening to the program.
All right, take care, brother.
Take care, brother. All right, Michael Rudden has one now from The Intercept. Says in a Brooklyn subway station on Sunday afternoon, police shot and injured three people and a fellow New York Police Department officer over a $2.90 fare. That is what safety and security looks like in Mayor Eric Adams' New York, where problems of poverty and hardship are met with policing and state sanctioned violence. At about 3 p.m. Sunday at the Sutter Avenue stop in Brownsville, Brooklyn, a 37-year-old man allegedly evaded paying the subway fare. According to reports, two police officers pursued the man up three flights of stairs and confronted him on the station platform. Police say the man pulled out a knife, interjecting police say yet another journal taking the cops' word for it. No knife was found. Both officers opened fire on the man, piercing him with several bullets while also striking two bystanders. One of the officers was hit with friendly fire. One of the bystanders, a 49-year-old man, is in critical condition in the hospital for a bullet wound to the head. This is what happens when you flood a major transit system with a government sanctioned, taxpayer funded armed gang coated with official impunity and prone to violence escalation. Sunday police shootings should be a lesson in why the subway should not be teeming with cops responding to crimes of poverty like fear evasion and panhandling with deadly force. Unsurprisingly, the Adams administration has framed the incident within its ongoing mendacious narrative about rampant subway crime, for which more policing is the only answer. Civil rights attorney Scott Hatchinger wrote on Twitter, referring to the total of fares unpaid by fare evaders caught by the police in 2023. The NYPD spent 150 million extra last year to catch people who weren't able to afford to pay the subway fare. They owed just 104,000. 150 million could buy fares at going rate for 95,000 poor New Yorkers per year. I love the way that perspective was placed, Michael Rutnan, because that is where policing versus poverty. Policing versus poverty. That is such. They spend an extra 150 million to police more down there, as opposed to just having security, right? But yeah, imagine if we had a fair program. Wow. Michael, that one touches the heart. The solution to this free public transit for these living in a city funded by a small tax increase on the wealthy and their mega corporations who are literally bussing in their workforce as well as refocus of police activity. In a city still worried about post 9/11 terrorism, police are supposed to be there as security to keep people safe, not to arrest them for minor infractions that shouldn't even be crimes in the first place. We could borrow an idea from Barcelona. Every tax-paying city resident is mailed a subway card for free access for the year. Let the tourists who don't pay income taxes pay $3 fare. There are solutions to problems. I love that. Cities should be for the people who live there. I love that. Michael, I love that solution that Barcelona is talking about. We have a woman from Barcelona, Spain, Melanie Keelan, can probably tell us a little bit more about that as well. And Melanie, you can feel free to call in and tell us about that if you want to as well. Eric Hayes says CBS correspondent Adriana Diaz appeared to. I'm not going to that junk. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Para ver. Paul Fleming says Trump is not upset with Mark Robinson's racism, sexism, and bigotry. That is a MAGA platform. The only reason Team Trump cares is that Robinson is killing Trump's chances to win North Carolina. And without that, he's losing. Hey, there is supposed to be a story breaking on CNN today, right? Where today's the last day he can drop out of the race, I believe, something to that effect. You're in yeah. Again, they want him out of the race in North Carolina, and guess what? I haven't followed the news. I just saw it on Daily Kos, and I was going to read it during the next video that I played. All right, let's see what else. Bruce Pollard is in the house. ¿Cómo estás, mi hermano de otra madre? That's Bruce Pollard. Lee Grant is in the house. Let's see. Bridge MCP said they need a cattle prod, Egberto. Breach, be nice now, beautiful. All right, let's see what else we got here. Lee Grant. Breed and Rudden, different cultures have different cuisine and different means of preparing food, but sometimes friction and conflict occur between cultures. Here's a bit from upstate Myanmar. Migrants after kidnapping, murdering, and eating Fae and Pet Swan of the. Okay, so I don't see the point. That's not okay. Let's. Guys, I did something terrible. Let's see. I think I lost all my messages. How did I click on that button? Let's see if I can get it to come back. How could I? I lost all the messages, guys. I lost all the messages. I lost all the damn messages. I did a forward, and let's see if it'll come back. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. No, I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. because I know I had some good messages that you guys had there. So let me go ahead and pull up some Facebook messages first and see if I can find them. Uh, Gosh, I hate doing that, guys. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. That's on me. I pushed the side button on the mouse and it got rid of all the messages in my aggregator. So I am going to have to do some, let's see if I can get it this way. I'm going to try to get, all right, all right, all right, let's see now. Okay. Barcelona, like Rome and this is from Lee Grant. Barcelona, like Rome and other cities, has a wealth distribution program called pickpocketing. It's not pickpocketing, but you know what? I believe in wealth distribution because it's not their capitalism isn't a fair way. They call it the most efficient reallocation of resources. That's a false statement. All right, let's see what else we got. Texas took over 400K off voter rolls because they were dead. I don't know how true that is, but if that is true, I don't have a problem. All right, let's see what else we got. Hypothesis: homeschool your kids, take them to church, raise them right, and see they'll be warriors of virtue. 30 years later, experimental result: Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Franklin Graham, Jerry Falwell. Conclusion: hypothesis was wrong. Good one, Fleming. Good one. Good one. Vinny says, I agree, but why they did eat it? Culture or hunger? There you go. Let's see what else we have here. Trump hung out with him just like Epstein. You know, that's an interesting thing. Let's see what comes out. Oh, I never thought about that. Let's see if there are some tapes that will come out. All right, Pollard says it's already taken over by oligarchs. All right, let's see what it says. Bridge MCP says Musk has so many kids, but his trans kid is kicked out and talking all the time. Oh, I didn't know about that one. Send me a link on that one. Let's see what else we have. Ray turned down radio. All right, let's see. Eric Hayes, you must if you gotta speak like that, you must pay it. That's bull. All right, let's see. Yvette Avery Herod, thank you for the clarification. The Teamsters have truly been misrepresented with the release of these poll numbers. Nowhere near the 1.3 members voted in those polls. We need the numbers for each type of poll for context to restore our dignity as Teamsters as a whole. I am with you, Yvette Avery Herod, and that's why I am going to cut the interview that we had yesterday to play where you make mention of some of that. If you want to add any additional information for me to put in that cut of your voice that I'm going to make a video out of, please feel free to give me a call and elaborate so that I can make sure that the video that I make with your voice about the Teamsters is accurate because the leader of the Teamsters, National Teamsters, I imagine he didn't go ahead and endorse Trump, but my gut feeling tells me he looks like one of those Trump guys. I may be wrong. He just looks kind of that way to me. Anyway, Bridge, Egberto, Donald Trump says he's coming to Springfield. Mayor would prefer he didn't. He also said the same of Harris. Former President Donald Trump told the crowd Wednesday night that he is coming to Springfield in the next few weeks as the city remains in national spotlight over immigration. I'm going to go there in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to go to Springfield, told a crowd, and then he repeat after that he said, "I hope I make it back." Something to that effect. He said. But yeah, I can't read that whole one, Bridge. But look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I think Trump made a mistake with Springfield, and I hope Harris knows how to monopolize on that mistake. Remember what he's trying to do with Springfield. He's trying to bring up the immigration problem, but since the immigration problem at the border has subsided much lower than when he was in power. Remember, here's the deal: less people are coming in now than when Donald Trump was in power. So he can't use that specifically as the issue. So what he wants to use is that the people that are already here and accepted and have and legal status and are in other towns that need them, he wants to create some sort of a friction about them replacing those in those towns. And that's what he's doing in Springfield. He wants to make Springfield somehow have a problem because the city that was once not, the city has a whole lot of Haitians, and the Haitians are doing a whole lot of good things. Yes, they're working in factories, they're forming their businesses, they have gone into the town and become an integral part of the community. He wants to create an issue there to scare all little towns America, with some bleed into the big cities, and in doing so make immigration an issue not about the border but about the immigrants here, build up on the deport these people. If you heard JD Vance, he's spoken about even the people who were given legal status by the Biden administration, deport them as well. So we're talking about a certain kind of evil here. That's what we're talking about. And it's something that we're not going to ever tolerate. So let's see what else I got here. Okay, I I wasn't able to recover all messages, so I'm going to continue, and then here we'll move on. Let's see what else we got here. Melanie Keelan says you can sign up for student and elderly fares, but it's heavily bureaucratic. Let's see what else we have here. Egberto, Donald Trump says he's coming. Oh, I read that one already. What else we have here before I go to the first video? Bridge, he wants to get senator there, period, then immigration. Eric Hayes says New York is having issues. Denver has cut city services like police and EMS. Wow. Okay. Unless you want to do taxes. Oh, wow. CNN Politics. I am a black Nazi. North Carolina GOP nominee for governor made dozens of disturbing comments on porn forum. The comments were made under a username that CNN was able to identify as Robinson's by matching a litany of biographical details and a shared email address. Wow. Wow. That is breaking on CNN right now. And North Carolina GOP nominee for governor made racist and lewd comments on porn site. Ha! Let's see if he's quitting the race or not. We'll find out in a little bit, and we may even talk about it tomorrow. But that's who he is. Okay, what else have we got here? Let's go ahead and play the first video, and then we'll take it on the other side. Again, America. First, let me play the Bernie Sanders and Ozempic video, and then we'll take it from there. The chairman of Novo Nordisk, the makers of Ozempic and Wegovy, that weight loss diabetes drug that the market has been really exploiting. Oh, it is going to be there because, again, the price of the drugs are ridiculous. It costs $5 to make the drug. And of course, Novo Nordisk is selling it to Americans for approximately $900 plus for the Ozempic and over $1,300 for the Wegovy. Well, what's interesting is that, these companies charge much less in other countries. England is only paying approximately, I think, $59 or so for it, and Germany just a little over $100 or something like that for the drugs. Now, Bernie is going to question these guys, but it's something systemic within our healthcare system why we are paying these prices. It has more to do with our politics being controlled by the medical industrial complex. And, Obamacare tried to mitigate some of this by giving people health insurance. But having our companies still pay these exorbitant prices do very little. So what I want you to do is I want you to listen to Bernie as what he has to say about this drug pricing. But more importantly, I want you to remember Donald Trump's statement about wanting to kill Obamacare but have nothing to replace it. He said he had concepts of plans. The interesting thing about it, though, is we wonder if those concepts of plans would also include curbing the power of the drug companies that continue to rip us off. Listen to Bernie, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Senators are set to grill the CEO behind the popular weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy. The CEO of Novo Nordisk has faced months of criticism from lawmakers over the high cost of these drugs. According to Senator Bernie Sanders, who chairs the HELP committee, a month's supply of Ozempic, get this, it costs almost $1,000 in the U.S. compared to $59 in Germany. And Senator Sanders is joining us now. Senator, great to have you here with us. We have talked about this issue before. There is a huge demand for these drugs, but it'll be really hard to pay for them, right? When you question the Novo Nordisk CEO, what answers will you be after?
Well, we basically want to know why he is charging the American people 10 or 15 times more for the same exact product that he's charging people in Europe, Canada, and elsewhere. And I think basically, he may say it or not, the answer is he can do it in the United States because he can get away with it. Other countries have strong laws. They negotiate prices. In America, historically, until very recently, drug companies could charge us any price they want. And in the case of Ozempic and Wegovy, we're dealing with the need to deal with epidemics in diabetes and obesity, costing us lives, costing us a lot of suffering, and huge amounts of money treating these illnesses. So you have a good drug. They have got to make this drug affordable for the American people so that we can begin to deal in an effective way with diabetes and obesity.
Novo Nordisk argues the net price of Ozempic after discounts and rebates has actually declined 40% since this drug was approved in 2017. What do you make of that argument that the prices have come down and they could fall even more?
Well, first of all, what they're talking about is, in some cases, after rebates from PBMs, charging $600. Number two, if you are uninsured or underinsured and you go to your pharmacy, you're going to pay the list price, which is close to $1,000. Number three, if you are on insurance and you get this for a reasonable price, the reason your insurance prices are going to be very, very high. So people can pay a reasonable price for the drug, but they're paying it at the other end in terms of high insurance rates. Also, I would add, these guys want to see Medicaid cover the product. They want to see Medicare cover the product. The estimate is that we would literally bankrupt Medicare, raise premiums to an unaffordable rate if we in the United States had to pay the prices that Novo Nordisk wants.
Affordability, accessibility to healthcare. This has been a huge focus of your work. So I have to ask you about the comments we heard from Donald Trump at the debate saying he saved Obamacare. Here's what he said.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future.
So those comments, in addition to saying he saved Obamacare, what's your reaction to what he is saying?
It's really quite amazing. He has been in 3 political campaigns. He has been president for 4 years. We are in the midst of a very serious healthcare crisis. We spend twice as much per capita on healthcare as any other nation. 85 million Americans uninsured or underinsured. Our life expectancy is lower than many other countries. And after all of that time, he is working on a concept for a plan.
So here's the deal. Concept of a healthcare system. What we really need to do is stop playing around and do what the rest of the world is doing. Having some sort of a guaranteed healthcare for all, universal healthcare system. We call it Medicare for all, but I don't care what you call it. We have to stop killing our citizens, and we have to start caring about our citizens more so than we care about an ideology. We are allowing an ideology to kill us. We're allowing corporations to take advantage of an ideology they've imposed on us to prevent us from seeking the best medical system possible. And that's a shame. That is a darn shame that's what we're allowing. It is amazing, folks. All right, from Bridge MCP. Well, before I go to Bridge, I have some other ones on top. Michael Radin had a word error. My external hard drives disconnected. Reboot fixed it. Didn't miss anything. Gotta love having a desktop and a cell phone at hand. Going to run extensive HD tests with the Crystal Disk Mat after that. A lot of times that is usually, if it just comes up like that, a lot of times it's actually a software error in a driver. Breach MCP, he cannot get off the ballot. He has till midnight tonight, Breach. Midnight tonight, Robinson has to get off the ballot. I don't know, maybe Trump will send one of his hitmen to say get off the ballots or else. We'll see. Lee Grant says many immigrants are given free housing and subsidized by Biden administration. This drives up rent and food prices, affecting the poor native people. What it actually drives up rent is when corporations buy up a whole lot of houses, a whole lot of condos, etc., keep them off the market and release them onto the market, buy them for cheap, then release it onto the market. Because since they bought it for cheap, they can hold it without having a financial impact. No, what Biden is doing with the immigrants and giving folks asylum is temporary, and it's something that is required by international law. You see, a lot of you guys don't realize that, right? International law cover asylum. But hey, you guys don't care about that, right? All right, breaking news. The Justice Department has opened a civil rights investigation into a Mississippi Sheriff's Department whose officers tortured two black men in a case that drew condemnation from the U.S. law enforcement. I remember that case. Lee, nope, most immigrants living illegally in the country are not eligible for benefits from federal programs. A valid Social Security number is needed to receive most federal benefits. Immigrants in the country illegally are not issued Social Security numbers. They may qualify for state and local public assistance programs. Some immigrants illegally in the country also pay taxes that help cover the cost of assistance. You know what? I had another video to cut from a pastor in what is it, Smithfield, uh, uh, Ohio, and it is about immigrants and how to treat immigrants, and he's reminding the evangelicals what their responsibilities are. And I didn't get the chance to cut the video yet, but I'm going to cut it, especially after what Lee Grant says. I just want to say something about my right wingers because most of them purport to be Christians. You have allowed Donald Trump and their machine to so corrupt your Christianity that if hell really exists as you think it does, I am not a guy who believes in hell, heaven, and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm a humanist. But you do believe in hell. You believe in the burning fires of hell, etc. You have been with Trump, following Trump, the evangelicals following Trump, and especially their leaders, their pastors. They are on a direct freeway leading them into hell for those who believe in that stuff. And while you're listening to my program, I am trying to save you, assuming that you believe that. I'm trying to save you from going down that freeway of hell. Bridge FCP says Egberto Willies, free speech or intimidation. Ohio sheriff says to write down home. I read that. Homes with Harris signs. At least a handful of Portage County residents have filed complaints with the U.S. Department of Justice and local authorities over an inflammatory social media post last weekend by Sheriff Bruce Zukowski. Many more, however, have expressed unease for their safety after the post, which suggests that residents begin tracking the addresses of neighbors who have Kamala Harris campaign signs in the yards. If Harris wins in November, Zukowski wrote, her supporters should open their homes to undocumented immigrants whom he referred to as locusts. Zukowski, a Republican in the county near Akron, is up for re-election in November. He did not make any overt threats in the post, but some residents said they felt unnerved by the idea of residents being put on a list because of their political beliefs. Kent resident Bob Springs said he filed a complaint with the Federal Department of Justice, collecting addresses of people from opposing party and voter intimidation. That is intimidation, and that is also saying you should be concerned about what kind of a service you'd get from your sheriff department if you're not a supporter of Donald Trump. It's a shame. Shakula hairstylist, how you doing, beautiful? I know, like, just show up and get home. Oh my God, the nativity, free houses and sex change for Michael Radin says Trump was saying we're going to be hearing about this healthcare plan in 2 weeks. And he repeated that line for years. You know how many years? 9 years. Egberto, drivers are all up to date. Gotta love IOBit driver boost and CMD wingnet upgrade all. Great. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got here. Bruce Pollard said some blue screen crashes are due to cosmic rays. Yeah, if I can believe that happening, if it changed a few bits, etc., in the microprocessor, in the memory storage, that could happen. All right, Lee Grant says many Haitians are evangelical Christians with a bit of voodoo thrown in. Yeah, absolutely. I don't, I mean, people have their own religions. I mean, let me tell you, we sit down there and criticize other people's religions all the time. But let me tell you the concept of the Christian religion, right? Because if you weren't born with the concept of the Christian religion, many people would ask if folks are crazy. Here it goes. People do bad things. Human beings do bad things. And in order to cleanse the bad things that you did, the God Almighty sent his son, and for your sins to be cleansed, his sons had to be murdered by nailing him to a cross, a violent act of bleeding and pain. That's what that God had to do to save you, had to sacrifice his son to save you. Now, for somebody that sounds normal to somebody that's a Christian. For somebody that's not a Christian, you would say, wait a minute, I thought your God was all powerful. If your God is all powerful, all he has to do is says, you are exonerated. He wouldn't have had to inflict a pain onto somebody bleeding to death to exonerate you of your sins, whatever sins are. So, to somebody who was never exposed to Christianity, that sounds pretty gruesome, and like, I thought the guy was all powerful. You didn't have to do the blood thing and pain thing and killing thing. So before you go ahead and demonize Santeria or demonize voodoo or any other religion, think about how your religion sounds to somebody else. Because I sat down with my office completely blacked out and I started to analyze, because I grew up a Christian. And we will talk about the blood of the Lord and the blood and this, and we talk about Moses sacrificing animals and all these things. And we sat down and there, it's like, why do we need the blood? Why do we need all of that? The all-powerful God just have to say you're forgiven and it's over. Right? That's how somebody like me would think. But people have their religion and you respect it. So please stop demonizing the religion of anybody, of any group, of any person, because it is no less, quote unquote, crazy sounding than your own. Okay? People who hear about yours may be just as disturbed as you are for theirs. Just as disturbed. All right. Shakula Hairstylist says, I saw an AI image of a minion on a cross. I didn't get it. I'm too old for those movies. All right. Let's see. What else have we got here? Shakula Hairstylist, good. Staying positive of kind. I'm glad you're staying positive. Okay. I have one more video to show you all today. It's a very good video. This one here, I think you're going to like as well. Every year, the Commonwealth Fund goes ahead and does a test of the different healthcare systems around the world. And we, without doubt, always come out last. Why do we come out last? Because we don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system. We have a system that depends on solely on money, a system that is a profit-based system, which means they don't really give a damn about your healthcare. What they care about is using your health as a widget to make somebody a hell of a lot of money. That is what our system is based. That is why you see private emergency rooms coming up all over the place. Investment bankers are creating new funds that take care of health insurance or that take care of creating all these little Walmart type healthcare system. They're not looking at healthcare to help you. They're looking at healthcare to simply make money. And that's unlike the rest of the world. Canada and all these other countries have some form of universal healthcare, some of them better than the others. Of course, the best would always be a single payer system throughout, because again, it's the most efficient, but we don't have that we don't have that here. And we don't have the care. We have the people completely brainwashed into thinking that a real healthcare system, it cannot exist in this country. Something that we really need to mitigate quickly. But I want you to listen to this little piece on MSNBC, and then we'll take it on the other side.
The healthcare system in the U.S. is failing, according to a brand new report comparing American healthcare to 9 other developed countries. According to new data, people in this country die the youngest and experience the most avoidable deaths, even though we spend nearly twice as much on healthcare. Joining me now, former White House Health Policy Director under President Obama and MSNBC medical contributor, Dr. Kavita Patel. I found these results shocking that even researchers say the U.S. stands out for its exceptionally weak performance. Are you surprised? And if not, how does it manifest itself for your patients?
Yeah, Chris, I'm not surprised, sadly. This is a study that the Commonwealth Fund has been doing over the years, and they compare health system performance across 10 countries, including the United States. And they compare them to kind of like countries, Australia, Netherlands, United Kingdom, France. And when they looked at all of these countries across 5 areas, access to care, care process, administrative efficiency, equity, health outcomes, Chris, it's no surprise that we're ranking very low, if not the lowest in overall performance. It manifests every day with patients, access to care. Think about how long it takes to get an appointment. Think how long it takes to get in to see a specialist. Add to that if you're on Medicaid. I'll even make it easier. What if you're in Texas? They didn't expand Medicaid, or Florida, states where they have not expanded access, where we have the ability to do it today. That's why we're seeing these results.
Yeah, just try to get in to get an MRI or a mammogram or, 6 months.
Yes.
Anyway, the report says that the U.S. has the lowest life expectancy and the highest rate of preventable and treatable excess deaths. What are we doing wrong? Can we reverse this trend?
Yeah, I think we need to move from I say this and I take a lot of humility, Chris, because I'm part of the problem. We have a sickness system, right? As doctors and professionals, we respond to sickness. You go to the hospital, you go to a doctor when you don't feel good. Chris, what if we inverted that pyramid? What if we paid health coaches, primary care doctors, pediatricians, people on the front lines, what if we paid them the most? This is sometimes what we see in other countries to prevent illness. And it's just something that we're starting to get a little bit better about prevention, but none of us want to be sick. All of us want to live longer. I want to be active to see my kids grow up, have their own kids. So why don't we start paying for those outcomes? And I think because of the way the insurance system is designed, the fact that we're still tied to kind of year to year, you might change your plan next year. So that plan doesn't know that you want to work on prevention, and that we have such a distance between our providers and our patients. There's a gap between us. Sometimes a physical screen between us. We don't even get to look patients in the eyes. We need to change that equation, and we have the power to do so. I love election years for this because this is a top voter issue. I'm hoping both candidates, Trump and Harris, get to talk about what they're going to do to reverse these trends.
Now listen to how Patel ends that thing. I love election seasons because that is a time where we can get the messages out of the candidates, and we can also impart messages into the candidate. But what's interesting in the debate where they asked Donald Trump about Obamacare, where he said, yes, I want to kill Obamacare, which is not the best health care, but it's better than what we've ever had before. Well, he says, yes, I want to kill it and make it better. And they asked him, what about a plan? Well, I have a concept of a plan. Well, this guy has been attempting to kill Obamacare for 9 years. John McCain saved us from disaster just before he died by voting the last bill to kill Obamacare down, and he's still with it. But what does he have to offer? No plan. America. Can't you see this man has no plan for neither your health care or your country, our country? Come on now. Now, look, the only healthcare system that's viable The only healthcare system that works is one where we are all in one risk pool so that we don't have insurance companies cherry picking who they want to have as clients. The only solution is a single payer, non-profit system, bar none. You cannot have your healthcare dependent on the profit of individuals or on the profit of corporations, etc. That cannot work because you never know if your healthcare is dependent on somebody making a profit or what's best for you. Have you been to a dentist lately? Do you really need a root canal or can they just do a fill-in? Do you really need a crown or can they just do a fill-in? When you are in a system where profit is the motive for healthcare, you can guarantee that your healthcare takes second fiddle to what really has to get done. Folks, it is time for us to wake up. A single payer healthcare system is our only solution. And what we have to do is force politicians to do exactly that. Exactly that. Anyway, Bridge MCP has an interesting post, and it is going to require a little bit of thinking and I wonder how many people are going to really get it. You know what's funny? Paintings of Adam and Eve where they both have belly buttons. Think about that. Take as much time as you need. Why would Adam and Eve need belly buttons? They didn't come from another being, right? You know, you know. That is so funny. That is so funny. Anyhow, let's see. I saw a union piece that I from let's see. I know I saw a union piece that Paul Fleming did. Paul Fleming says that's important. Workers are voting to join unions at the highest rate in 15 years. The number of workplace strikes hit 23 year high last year. Why? Perhaps it's because the CEO to worker pay ratio at S&P 500 companies was 268 to 1 last year. Workers are fed up and rightfully so. And that's why it behooves me why the Teamsters leader didn't do what he was supposed to do. Welcome aboard, Alistair Waters. Great to see you here, beautiful. Also, E22471 wants us to go over the ECRA. So let me go ahead and pull that up for him. The one pager is here, Electoral Count Reform Act. One of the main things about the act is it clarifies that the VP has ceremonial levels. He just has to follow, the rules. Anyway, I have it on the screen right now for all to see. Check it out. But the role for it identifies the role for the vice president, higher objection threshold, meaning you can't just object willy nilly on willy nilly for a particular state that comes with their elected vote set of electors. Protected of each state's popular vote. It says strikes a provision of the arcane 1845 law that could be used by state legislature to override the popular vote. Make sure that they simply can't do that. Remember, they were trying to do that back then, that they said the legislature is the one who could just say, we don't like the popular vote. And of course, single conclusive slate of electors. You can't have a whole bunch of slate of electors. So I have that on the screen. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat for those who, it's a PDF. So bear with me 1 second. Let me back up out of there so that I can give you that one pager copy link address. I'm putting it in the screen for you. All right. What have we got here? Egberto Willies, wouldn't it be cool when Kamala Harris wins, she gets a VP official that counts? Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great because that's exactly what she's going to do, right? That's exactly what she's going to do. And let me just say, I am so happy that you said when. I can see my sound going out. I'm happy you said when she wins because I think like I said, I'm still going with the landslide. Okay, one short story now, and let me get to my page here. I just want to touch on this a bit. The story, CEO pay, and this kind of ping pongs off of our brother who told us about the union stuff. Bear with me 1 second as I get there. Oh, my head hurts. Paul Fleming. Okay. Exorbitant CEO pay has contributed to rising inequality in recent decades, concentrating earnings at the top and leaving fewer gains for ordinary workers, said one expert at the Economic Policy Institute. Chief executive officers at the largest companies in the United States saw their compensation surge by 1,085% from 1978 to 2023, compared with only 24% increase for typical worker pay, according to an annual report published Thursday. The Economic Policy Institute analysis focuses on the 350 largest publicly owned U.S. firms by revenue. Since CEO pay is mostly stock-based and the value of stocks changes frequently, calculating it is not entirely straightforward. The report explains. So EPI uses a backward-looking measure, realized compensation, and forward-looking measure, granted compensation. CEO's annual realized compensation in 1978 was $1,874,000 but rose to $22,207,000 last year. The 1085% increase. Meanwhile, private sector workers were making $57,000 a year nearly half a century ago and have only seen that rise to $71,000 now. The realized CEO to worker compensation ratio was 290 to 1 in 2023, in stark contrast to the 21 to 1 in 1965. Over the last 2 decades, the ratio has been far higher than at any point from the 1960s to the early 1990s. The report notes some limited progress. Last year's analysis, released amid the United Auto Workers strike at the Big Three, found that CEOs made 344 times as much as typical workers. There was a 19% decrease in CEOs' realized compensation from 2022 to 2023. The report also points out positive trends. So as it is, the revolt has started. The pitchforks hasn't come out yet, but it's getting there. Egberto, thanks. However, the link to one page pulls up too superficial peek at the type of ECR of 2022. Yeah, but at least they can go ahead now and do a Google search of ECRA and pull it up for the to get more than the synopsis, my brother E2247. If you want to give a better link, please do. But again, I think people can pretty much do that on their own. Let's see. Shakula here, stylist says every state with a real population is in play now, not Oklahoma, but Florida and Texas are in contention, and it wouldn't surprise me if when we see all the things falling into place, Robinson being found out. Put it this way: Robinson is not doing anything different than Trump, right? He's caught up in porn, etc. So is Trump. So we are going to have to start making the case to tie Robinson to Trump. The only way people are looking with a bit more disdain on Robinson is because you think about it. Anyhow, we gotta be smart. We gotta be smart. We gotta be smart. All right, let's see what else I got here. I'm done with my videos. Anybody want to give me a quick call? Otherwise, I'm going to close this baby out. Anybody want to give me a quick call? Give me a call at 281-823-7747. I would love to close the show out with a call. 281-823-7747. Call in once, call in twice. I'm going to wait about a minute. Give me a call. I'd love to hear one of our PDR Posse's voice. I love all of you. 281-823-7747. Who will give me the honor of their voice? Who will have the courage and say, Egberto, I'm going to let the PDR folks hear my voice today? Come on, folks, let's do it. 281-823-7747. And there we go. My beautiful, beautiful Bridge MCP. How you doing, Bridge?
All right, how you doing?
I am
Well,
doing.
I'll say that in a New York voice. How you doing?
I'm doing better, even because I'm listening to my favorite Irish New York girl. What's up?
Well, I could say it in Irish too. How you doing, wee man? Anyway, I wanted to say that I think the shows have been great. They really have.
Thank you. Thank
you.
But
since we're down to, well, I always do, but since we're down to so close to the election, I was wondering if we can concentrate more, like all the guys are posting, girls, whatever, are posting things about what's going on and what's going on in Georgia with the election and the
sure.
Raskin and all that crap. I think that we should start to move close to posting the things that are going on about the election, the elector, people not certifying, and things of that nature, more towards that kind of stuff. I know
Well,
what
you
you're
know
doing,
what?
and I get it.
No, 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 no. I mean, let me tell you, this is y'all's show, and everybody that's listening to Bridge right now, I like that idea. I mean, I need to put out that whatever it is that the folks want in this election series, etc. So I will be working more. I have some other things that I have set up, but I'll be working more towards
That's okay.
doing that because I think that's a very, very good suggestion. I think you're absolutely
Yeah,
right
I think
about
it's
that.
important. I think it's important that we start seeing what because they're trying to ruin it all, before it happens with the
Right,
election for. They're already setting it up for an election for. We all know that. But
right,
what's going
right.
on in states and what they're doing in states, and they're not going to certify, and a lot of things like that, and what's going on, like I had posted about the sheriff there in Ohio and things like that. It's just, I think it's important for people to realize outside of their fox brain bubble. And P.S. Eric, exercise more than your friggin' chest muscles. They look good, but your brain's failing. There's a muscle there. Anyway,
You know,
so I just thought
eh,
it would be a suggestion.
no, actually, and I take suggestions seriously, and I'll try to bring up more stories and try to do more videos on that as well. I think that's important, and again, I like good suggestions, and I want people to do that. I want people to let us say, "Hey, Egberto, we need to cover this, cover that." If you have links that you want
Yeah,
to
well, it's
cover more,
hard.
send me things.
You can't see everything in chat. It's way too much. I can't see everything in chat. So you miss a lot. Well, you don't miss a lot, but they're important things. They're posting about things that are happening now.
Well,
So that's why I was going to bring it up. But it's 5 o'clock, so I just wanted to put that in there.
Well, look, I
So
agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly, my dear sister. So thank you very much for calling in. Let me go ahead and do my ask now, but I thank you so kindly for being here and also for being
of
a part
course,
of the PDR posse and making sure that we stay in line, girlfriend.
I've got to keep you in mind, Bo.
You
Okay.
got to keep me in line. Absolutely. Have a great one, Vidich. Talk to
All
you
right.
later, girl.
You too.
Peace. All right.
Bye.
Breed is absolutely right. I need to cover more election-based things specifically, and I will do that. Although, thinking about it, Breach, today, what did we cover? Today we covered uh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get busy. Folks, please remember to support the program. The program cannot exist without you. There are several things that you can do. One of the things that I ask all of you to do who have the wherewithal to is become a part, subscribe to our newsletter, become a paid subscriber of our newsletter. And to do that, go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. If you become a paid subscriber of our newsletter, you get access to all my books. And getting access to all of my books means you get to read all the good stuff we talk about, every single one. And as you can see, I'm scrolling the books right now. So I'm asking those who can to go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter and sign up for a paid subscription. And again, it's inexpensive and it keeps us doing what we need to do. I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.